Growing up, have you ever had that one show that you never really cared for, but you watched anyway because your show just ended, and you have to wait another 30 minutes for your other favorite show to come on? Well, that's me with Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget.
Hi, I'm Anthonix Maximus, bitching to you about movies because I don't have anything Inspector Gadget related, so trench coat and a hat it is. Yeah, I wasn't really too big on Inspector Gadget growing up, so I don't really have anything Inspector Gadget related. So, Power Rangers it is. Oh, but for the first video of 2022, I finally got those autographs finally framed. There's Jason Font's autograph from Power Rangers Time Force, and from the boys we got Anthony Starr, and this is perfect timing because the new Scream movie just came out, an autograph from Jack Quaid, whose face just says, "Oh my god, my dad is tweeting again." And yes, I'm wearing one of Addison's hats that he left behind. I could have worn this hat. This hat my mom actually gave me right before I moved to New York. That was actually 10 years ago this month, but unfortunately the hat has seen better days. But it could work for a Freddy Krueger hat, so if I ever do a Freddy Krueger movie review, I know where to go. So let's discuss Inspector Gadget. As a kid, Inspector Gadget was not my to-go-to. I had other better cartoons to watch. And yet, I watched many episodes because when you're a kid, it's cartoon, it's flashy, it's there. I know much of the premise as it is. It's not really a tough premise to follow. Inspector Gadget was a cartoon that premiered in September of 1983 and it ran until 1986. Its syndication ran well into the 90s though. Those are the episodes I caught. It was distributed by Deke. Not Dick. Deke, grow up. I'm sorry if I butcher these names, but I'm gonna give it a try. The series was created by Bruno Bianchi, Andy Hayward, and Jean Chalopin. They had previously worked on Lupin III. The premise was simple. The show was created in France, but it moved its way to North American audiences. Basically, imagine Inspector Gadget being an amalgamation of Inspector Clouseau from Pink Panther and a little bit of the $6 Million Man. He would take down Dr. Claw, whose face we'd never seen. In the show's run, he was very incompetent, very bumbling, and the one who would actually save the day would end up being his niece Penny and her dog Brain. But Penny and Brain would actually step back and allow Inspector Gadget to receive all the credit. Inspector Gadget would actually get his missions from Chief Quinby.
This message will self-destruct. Okay, Chief. My vacation can wait.
I never really understood that part. I guess it's a little bit of Mission Impossible with a self-destruct message. If it wasn't for Dr. Claw, I wouldn't be interested in the show at all. Dr. Claw, voiced by Frank Welker, would be this faceless mastermind. We'd never see his face. We'd only see his hand, a computer, and his cat named Mad Cat. He would run the organization of MAD, mean and dirty. That's what it stands for. It's just a simple premise. It would go on for years. The first season, Inspector Gadget was treated like an Interpol agent, but then the following seasons, the missions were actually closer to home, operating out of Metro City. I would like to tell you the backstory of Inspector Gadget, but we never actually get that from the cartoon. But the movie we're about to see is going to give more of a backstory to it. You would think with a simple premise, it's easy to make a film about it. Well, Disney's about to prove you wrong. In 1999, we finally got a feature-length film, Inspector Gadget, the first live-action Inspector Gadget. Unless you want to count that episode of the Super Mario Brothers show.
I need an emergency adjustment. The name is Gadget. Inspector Gadget.
But this one, we get a full feature-length film. So let's see Matthew Broderick F this up. Oh, that's fun. That's fun with the Disney logo having the gears and stuff. That's pretty much gonna be the movie. It's gonna dangle CGI and gears in front of us like keys in front of a baby. This film is written by Karen Aaron. and Zach Penn, who gave us some of the X-Men movies. Yeah, it's amazing because Disney actually had some directors lined up. At one point, Steven Spielberg was interested as executive producer because he liked the cartoons, but he had some other projects to take care of. They almost had Brendan Fraser as Inspector Gadget, but Brendan Fraser was busy filming George of the Jungle. Better choice. Oh yeah, and at another point, it was going to be directed by the Farrelly brothers. Thinking about Jim Carrey as Inspector Gadget. I mean, I guess since they worked with him on Dumb and Dumber, why not this film too? But no, Disney sat around and they said, who should we get to direct this film? Oh, I know. How about the guy that directed Cool as Ice? Bring in David Kellogg. Let's go further with this damn film. Okay, at least for the opening credits, they use proper theme song rather than Youngstown version. Because the 90s. Replace every song with a boy band cover. If they did it today, they'd probably use Fall Out Boy. We have our titular hero, Matthew Broderick, playing the titled Inspector Gadget. But he's not Inspector Gadget yet. He goes by the name of John Brown. Alright, so the first problem with this is that in the film he's named John Brown, but in the cartoon his actual name is Augustine Tamir. Matthew Broderick, you just really cling on to life, don't you? You just kind of want to cling on to your career as best as you can. You want to cash in on that Ferris Bueller's Day Off money, don't you? Two good things. Ferris Bueller's Day Off and him voicing adult Simba. All the other stuff, not necessary. I don't know, something about him, he just doesn't seem very trustworthy. Uh-oh, and we have Penny and her dog Brain. Penny being played by Michelle Trachtenberg, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's little sister. And as a police officer, John Brown saves the day. And his love interest, Brenda Bradford, played by Jolie Fisher. She does have a part in this film that contributes to him being the Inspector Gadget.
It was nothing. All in a day's work.
That's right, if you're a young writer and you don't know what to do, you can always just have them waking up from a dream or start the film off on a dream. Those are your last resort cliches.
They said 2 years as a security guard isn't enough experience to be a cop.
Oh, he's a security guard that got turned down for a police officer job. But freaking how? Have you seen Cops? I just realized, speaking of Cops, I look less Inspector Gadget and more Detective Harvey Bullock from Gotham. Meanwhile, Brenda and her father, Professor Bradford, are working on a cybernetics invention. I'm assuming this invention is for Quentin Tarantino? But don't worry, folks. The foot starts working.
I was thinking about how much you remind me of your mother.
I'm sure they meant it in an innocent way, but this film, I'm not so sure.
Animated by will, not by thought. By your heart.
That's the power of love.
Brenda Bradford.
And now we got our villain, Dr. Claw. And this is going to be the only time in the film we're going to get our actual Dr. Claw. I mean, you got the hand, you got the cat, you got the computer, but don't get used to it. It's not going to last.
Sykes, release the remote control valve.
Okay, we kind of see him in the silhouette, so we know he's not wearing some kind of mask, but it's still a silhouette, so maybe he's deformed?
Hello, Artemis.
The film actually manages to screw up the whole identity of the bad guy by showing his face. I mean, that's the thing about Dr. Claw is we never see his face. That's the only reason why guys like me kept coming back. We were really drawn in by the whole mystery of Dr. Claw. All the episodes of Inspector Gadget never once showed his face. In fact, fun fact, while Dr. Claw's face was never shown in the cartoon, it was finally revealed in the 1992 Inspector Gadget toy line. So here's what the creators imagined him actually looking like. Yeah, but there's no mystery here. We already know Dr. Claw is Rupert Everett.
Arrivederci, Professor.
Okay, that's pretty dark. Dr. Claw killed the inventor. I mean, it's a very cartoonish Disney death with a laser, but it's still a death. Dr. Claw is capable of murder. And this is the only time the film gets serious. And John Brown is on hot pursuit of Dr. Claw.
Oh no. We've been chased by the Hatchback Squad.
Why is Dr. Claw there? If he can actually operate the killing drones from his computer remotely, why did he just do it out of his office? They did the same thing recently with Kingpin and Hawkeye. Main overarching bad guys should never be on the scene. They're powerful enough that they actually hire henchmen to do the work for them. If you really don't want your hands dirty, don't be at the crime scene. Because Yahoo was a thing in 1999. Get it?
Remember, smoking kills.
Oh boy.
Okay, two times Dr. Claw is really evil. When he kills the inventor and he blows up the security guard. He fails at killing John Brown, but he attempts. And if you want to know why he's called Dr. Claw, friggin' bowling ball. Dr. Claw is handicapped because a bowling ball.
This man tried to save my father. He risked his life to protect our work.
We've done all we can.
Not yet, we haven't.
That's where the $6 Million Man story comes in. And we actually get the mayor, played by Sherry O'Terry, who I will admit is probably the funniest part of this film.
Yeah, Columbo, Nintendo, all rolled into one.
And he won't call me Evil Gadget behind my back.
And Dabney Coleman, who I really like, and I do think this is good casting, plays Chief Quimby. In this film, this chief is not going to be hiding and giving explosive messages to Inspector Gadget. He's just going to be the chief. Yep. It's a fun family film. We put in random junk into a man's body. So Disney's idea is not just save a man from death by repairing him, but let's go ahead and insert farty sounds and bubbles and toothpaste into a body. He is no longer man. He is now a friggin' Nickelodeon prop.
Not bad, Kramer. It's got a sort of postmodern Captain Hook kind of feel to it.
But after Dr. Claw lost his hand, he just left the scene and left the limo behind? I want to know how he hasn't been arrested yet. And that's why a main overarching villain should never be at the crime scene.
It's a nickname. One that will send my enemies cowering in fear.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been calling him Dr. Claw. His name is Sanford Skolex. Skolex Industries. We're not even get the dignity of calling the organization mad, mean, and dirty. It's Skolex Industries. And it's interesting, too, because the city in this film is called Riverton, and it's supposed to be in Ohio. Even though the Skolex Industries building is actually the tower located in Pittsburgh, even though in the cartoon, the city's Metro City. You know what, writers? You do whatever you want. Don't even bother looking at the original cartoon. I didn't. But you know, you're the writers. You guys know it all. You do your thing, please. You know more than me.
Very diabolical.
Yeah, Dr. Claw in the cartoon, by the way, I forgot to mention this, I'm sorry, but he was actually inspired by James Bond villain Blofeld. And in the cartoon, I should also mention, Inspector Gadget was voiced by Don Adams, who was on the TV show Get Smart. You know, let me point this out. They made a Get Smart movie starring Steve Carell. I thought it was pretty decent. I think Steve Carell did a decent job playing Don Adams. If they were to make a Inspector Gadget movie today, I wouldn't mind Steve Carell being Inspector Gadget. But, sorry, back to the film. We're gonna find out how Dr. Claw gets his name. I mean, it's simple enough, he has the claw. But let's see their thought process.
But, Captain Claw.
No. Or Santa Claus.
Just Claw.
What? Just Claw? You have a doctorate. You're a doctor. You're allowed to call yourself Dr. Claw. Dr. Doom over here never finished college, and he still calls himself a doctor. It's Dr. Claw, not Claw. This movie is just finding new ways of pissing me off.
Just Claw. One word. Like Madonna.
Oh, and by the way, he threw in that whole like Madonna gag because in real life, he was friends with Madonna. They starred in a movie together, which came out that same time.
Well, first we have the opera hand. I made you a sushi hand, see there?
That's Andy Dick's gag. Props and being nervous. Enjoy. Andy Dick's name is Kramer because Seinfeld. That's the writing process. That's how the writers did their writing for this movie. They just took every little thing that was popular at the time and said, this belongs in this children's movie script.
No! I gotta get out of here.
Listen to all the wacky sounds and the intense close-ups. Yeah, you can tell that's very David Kellogg directing. If you ever seen Cool as Ice, that was kind of his style.
First prototype cyber police officer for the Riverton Police Department.
And now we're back to Dr. Claw. Sorry, Claw. We're back to Claw because he wants to create a machine he can control himself.
It's 11.
You know, I'm just picturing the writer's room at that time. So in this scene, I think we need to get Claw to use a machine, but I think Claw is going to be played by a very professional, well-learned actor. So what do we think we should do in the scene? Let's make him fart! A huge chunk of this movie is John Brown learning to become Inspector Gadget and how to work his body. But you better believe there's going to be a lot of horny Gadget moments here. It's not a 90s film until we get a racist stereotype. Let's watch.
Concentrate.
It's a ball joke. That Yogi is pretty much castrated.
Ta-da!
The Gadget Mobile.
Oh, cool. It's the Gadget Mobile.
Good morning, Riverton. Hey, who's in the car? I work alone.
You see, in the cartoon, the Gadget Mobile was actually built as a minivan that would turn into a police car. It wasn't sentient, it just followed directions, like a machine. But you know it's a Disney movie because it got a McDonald's product placement. And because McDonald's works with Disney, there's Coca-Cola. Can't remember the last time I ever had a surge. Probably was the 90s.
Speed limits are for cars, not the Gadget Mobile.
The friggin' car talks. And it's sassy because it's voiced by D.L. Hughley. D.L. Hughley. He was a comedian. Oh, he still is, but he was known for the Hughleys TV show that was on ABC, which is actually operated under Disney. Because when you do one thing for Disney, you give them your soul. And they get to put you in whatever they want. Seriously, ask all the Disney Channel kids.
Are you talking to me? Speaking of breaking the law, who's not wearing a seatbelt? Gotta wear the belt, baby. It's a Disney movie.
Oh, so because of a misunderstanding, we're gonna get some hijinks wackiness. And meta fourth wall breaking.
I'm the inspector. You're the cop. I tell you what you are. You're the...
Oh my god, these fast edits and talking straight to the camera and close-ups. Damn it, David Kellogg, F off.
Oh man, I got a June bug in my grill.
I hate you. I truly hate you, movie.
Shut up and let me go, please. Thank you.
Oh, guys breaking into a car. Alright, I know very well what screenwriting cliche is, so let me guess. This is where Inspector Gadget thinks they need help breaking into the car because he thinks it's their car. I'm ashamed I know these cliches.
Allow me to help. Oh, say bye-bye to the rookie. Here, this ought to do it.
Yes, and because criminals are known to do things in broad daylight while wearing their prison jumpsuit.
Step away from the Viper. Hey, what's a big idea? Forward! Oh, for crying out loud!
You know, I could be commenting on how fake the CGI is, but at this point, it's just like me complaining that the sky is blue. It's a 1999 film. Of course, the CGI is going to look stupid, because let's face it, by now your mind's already numbed down. But this far in the film, it's almost expected on. I would be disappointed if the CGI didn't look like this. Dr. Claw's cat is a black and gray cat in a cartoon, but in a film they decided to make him a white cat. Fine, whatever. But hey, at least they got him snickering like Dr. Claw's cat. So, you guys get a point.
Sanford Skolex, we were at Harvard together. Maybe you remember me better like this.
Yes!
Ah, okay, he used to be overweight. Now that he lost his weight, he's become Claw. See, folks, and that is why I haven't lost weight yet, because if I did, I would be the most dangerous supervillain on Earth. And you don't want that. I go for the cookies because I'm doing it for you. 1999. Where you can smoke cigars and blow it in people's faces, and it didn't matter to anyone.
No, I was a hard worker.
See, his attempt to listen in on a conversation has been foiled because of that woman. 'Cause she's fat.
I won't be happy until I've brought the murderers of Artemis Bradford to justice.
Well, I won't be happy until you're off the force.
So in the cartoon, Chief Quimby was always annoyed with Gadget, but it was just because Gadget just kept messing up on things. But in this film, it's more of a political annoyance.
You are not a real policeman. You are just a publicity stunt that we have to put up with.
I tapped into her files and stole her research.
And now that Claude got Brenda on his team and got access to her files, he's created his own Inspector Gadget. I don't know what it is, but something about a villain having straight white teeth is more scary than sharp teeth. Probably because it's not so natural. This is where Inspector Gadget figures out that the inventor's death is caused by Skolex Industries. And Robo Gadget is out terrorizing Riverton. Hey, you young cool kids. I bet you thought that Smash Mouth song was from Shrek. Well, you're wrong. It's actually from Mystery Men, which also got used in this movie. So no, it's not a Shrek song. It's a Mystery Men and Inspector Gadget song.
But what else could SI stand for?
Oh, what about that?
Skolex Industries.
Okay, so really he only knew that the evidence was linked to an industry by the initials SI. It took Penny to point out that it was Skolex Industries. So yeah, alright, I guess they did make Penny a bit more like Penny in the cartoon, where she's actually more competent than her uncle. After Gadget telling Brenda that her boss is evil, she figures out that her boss is evil by finding a sex doll version of herself. You know, because Mission Impossible happened. God, I hate this movie. Like, I really do. This movie just keeps stealing one cliche after another.
All Sandy ever wants to talk about is that gross foot. The one he stole and copied to make me.
Jeez, Brenda got more information out of a sex doll than she did from Inspector Gadget.
But you'll never get away with it.
I think somebody's been watching too many Saturday morning cartoons.
Huh.
Ha!
To make techno warriors that never get tired, never get hungry, and never say no.
Yeah, movie, you really did the whole easy way thing, didn't you? You know, what I'm saying is practical effects of the open chest thing. It's quite simple, really. You just have the open chest, you have the board as the table, you cut a hole, and you just put Matthew Broderick's head in. I'm sure you watching this, you probably already figured that out on your own, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't explain the physics of this movie. Not because I think you're dumb, it's just because this movie is dumb, and I'm just really stretching to find something to give to you.
Arrivederci, ciao ciao.
He just took away Inspector Gadget's life force, which is just one simple chip. That is kind of pathetic. With Inspector Gadget out of the way, Robo Gadget gets to be as evil as he wants. It's kind of like the cartoon. I kind of rooted for the bad guys then as well, because that's how boring Inspector Gadget is. There's kind of an unwritten rule for writers, and that is never include a movie reference that the audience would rather see. But this one is a little bit different, because they're referencing Godzilla, a movie that Matthew Broderick was in, and it was bad. That's a little bit worse, because now you have a bad movie, and you're reminding us that Matthew Broderick was in another bad movie. We've seen the whole Godzilla joke done over and over again. Each time there's always an Asian person talking about Godzilla, like they're remembering it. Writers, I don't know where you got your book of cliches, but close the book and throw it out. And we could have done without the up-crotch shot. Thank you. But don't worry about our hero, because Penny, Brain, Gadget-Mobile, and Brenda find John in a junkyard. And they don't need that chip.
Got the heart. Do it all by himself.
They just need the power of will, which is pretty much code for
Power of love.
Brenda.
That's kind of the solution for a lot of the movies I reference, right?
Later, Penny.
You know, I was thinking Penny and Brain, they were not doing enough sleuthing on their own, but they were just dropped off at home by the Gadget-Mobile, so this is the opportunity for them to disobey the authority and save the day.
Gotcha! You're under arrest for the murder of Artemis Bradford, School X.
God, you're irritating.
Again, Claw, why are you throwing yourself into this? Stay away from all the crime. You're supposed to be a crime boss, a master of industry. You're supposed to be the big boss. You should not be this involved. But this is the moment we get the two gadgets fighting. You know it's a good movie? RoboCop. RoboCop's a really good movie. You see, on the surface, it's about a man who becomes part machine, part man, and he fights crime. But really, it's actually a story about the inner workings of a corrupt police force trying to work their way through the bad situations of Detroit. And it's a very emotional story because RoboCop is trying to find his humanity that he once had. But not with Inspector Gadget. Inspector Gadget, he gets to just do kooky sound effects and crazy gadgets that come out of his body. I don't know. I can only be exhausted for this film so much.
Okay, Brain. No. Brain, you go that way. I'll go this way.
Penny and Brain act like Penny and Brain in the cartoon, where they actually start showing up and sleuthing. And Penny actually finds the foot. Oh my god, finally the fight is over. We don't need to see two Matthew Brodericks, for the love of God. But gee, I hope this ends with a bad one-liner.
Should have quit while you were ahead.
Okay, now we get Inspector Gadget with his chopper. That's one of my favorite gadgets that he had because, I mean, it's a freaking helicopter in a head.
Why let you better fat?
Bring on the brownies! Ah! Wheel in the waffle!
Me, every time I'm at Golden Corral.
Let me give you a lift!
Try to visualize your goal.
Remembering something that the yogi told him. I didn't know that was a point in the film for a story arc, but that's a point in the film for a story arc. Oh my god, these two are falling. The building fall in this movie is longer than the church fall in Batman.
Hey, Wagon, go Gadget. Umbrella?
John, you did it!
Dr. Brenda Bradford, wasn't necessary for you to install a feature that tells us every time Gadget has an erection. You're kissing a machine.
And that is the game.
She's an amazing young woman. She held up a mirror to my misguided ways in the service of Mr. Skolix.
Oh, see, Penny does contribute to this, and she makes it clear that she saved the day as well, so Michelle Trachtenberg is a good Penny, but they didn't write her quite properly.
This is not goodbye. I'll get you next time, Gadget!
Oh my god, Claw didn't even get Dr. Claw's line right.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Now the happy ending where we're forced to watch Matthew Broderick awkwardly kiss Jolie Fisher. And boys and girls, the rockets is symbolism for sex. Premarital sex. Make baby Jesus cry sex. Oh good, we get some mid-credit scene. Funny moments.
To Rubba Brenda Rubix, Ralva, your host. Rubba Brenda.
Alright, see, the thing I hate about Disney Plus is, while there are mid-credit scene, it'll actually try to jump to the next film. I don't want to watch Inspector Gadget 2 yet.
My name is Sykes. Hi. And I'm a minion.
And some of them actually did play henchmen. For example, you actually have Richard Kiel reprising his role as Jaws. And you got Mr. T, even though he's not really anyone's henchman that I can think of in anything. Kato from Green Hornet, even though he's not really a henchman, he's a sidekick or a partner to Green Hornet, a superhero. And you also have Igor, Young Frankenstein, Tattoo from Fantasy Island, and other James Bond henchmen. Hell, there's even Tonto. So they're not really henchmen, they're sidekicks. The joke is not funny anymore. Shame on you, movie. But it's cool to see Richard Kiel reprise his role as Jaws. And Penny gets to try out her watch like she has in a cartoon.
Brain, say something. Come in, over.
Brain is not here.
Okay, Brain kind of talks in the cartoon, but it's in the same way that Scooby-Doo talks. But here, his voice is perfect English, and it's voiced by Don Adams, who provided the voice of Inspector Gadget. So, yeah, there's that. God, I hate this movie. I really do. This movie sucks. This movie was a flop. So much a flop that Roger Ebert called it one of the worst films of 1999. Years later, there was a sequel, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Inspector Gadget 2 is kind of better than this one. Yeah, a straight-to-video movie, Inspector Gadget 2, gets the source material more accurate. Oh my god, did I really just defend a straight-to-DVD movie starring, of all people, French Stewart? You see what you've done to me, movie? But you know what? Fair and balanced. I'm not going to be mean to the movie. I said some nice things. I'll say one more nice thing. The movie is only 70 minutes. 80 minutes after the credits, but the film itself, 70 minutes. From the bottom of my heart, movie, thank you for sucking at only 70 minutes. But man, this really sucked. And I shouldn't be mad at this movie for sucking because I never was that big of an Inspector Gadget fan. I can't say much more. So, please, share, like, subscribe, ring that bell, give it a ring-a-ding because I have a feeling that it doesn't always work. So make sure you actually ring that bell. And, you know, this movie, I just swear, it's just ongoing. It just does not ever stop. And furthermore...
Oh no, my throat hurts. Look what you have done to me, movie. Next time, Gadget. Next time.
Robotic foot.
A robotic foot? What kind of a cyber freak are we dealing with?